Have you ever wondered if fighter pilots make good drivers and drivers make good fighter pilots? Well, we have, and we've decided to find out. So today, I'm going to be teaching someone how to drive this, and in return, they're going to be teaching me how to fly this.
We've been given unprecedented access to the Navy's Air Force, the Fleet Air Arm. And we've come to the same base where Prince Charles learned to fly. It's home to the Commando Helicopter Force and the Sea Harrier. Chris Roy joined the Navy at 18, and now 25 is their youngest Harrier pilot. But do the skills that make him a Top Gun mean he can drive a supercar? We'll find out in the 205-mile-an-hour Ford GT, but not before the Navy have found out if a racing driver has the ability to fly in formation and hover a £20 million jet. The mission starts with a medical. You simply can't fly in a fast jet if you're not totally healthy. Even if you've got a cold, they won't let you up. They test blood pressure, your eyesight, and take a urine sample.
Have you got a bigger bottle?
To check for blood or infections. Then you're hooked up to an electrocardiogram to make sure the heart is ticking as it should be.
Am I 6 foot?
But even if all that is passed, you're still not guaranteed to fly.
So this is the anthropology check, where they measure all my limbs to see, A, that I'll fit in the jet, but more importantly, I'll fit correctly on the ejection seat, because if we need to get out, then if my legs are too short or certain bones aren't the right length, then it's no go, I'm afraid.
Luckily, I was the right shape, so I was off to be kitted out like a pilot. All your equipment needs to fit like a Savile Row suit. The classic bone dome is adjusted so it's not too tight, because the last thing you need at 600 mile an hour is a headache.
That's good. Hand side to side.
Obviously, you need a perfect seal on your oxygen mask, but because everyone's face is a different shape, it's a case of trial and error to find the correct fit. But the most important piece of kit you need is a pair of anti-G trousers.
This clips into the seat, and the seat or the plane will know how much G we're pulling, and once we go over a certain threshold, it'll pump air in here, which squeezes my abdomen and my thighs and my calves, and it stops blood from leaving my brain and my heart and down my legs. Hopefully stop you blacking out.
Fully kitted out, it was time for Chris, our pilot, to show me round his office, the Sea Harrier FA2. That's F for fighter and A for attack.
So Jason, this is the Sea Harrier FA2, single seat, multi-role fighter. The business end is the Blue Vixen radar at the front there.
That's right behind here?
Yeah, that's our air intercept radar. We use that to track and find enemy aircraft before we shoot various different kinds of missiles at them. This is a Sidewinder acquisition round. So that when we practice, just like in the films, in here you've got the seeker head off the missile. It'll lock onto the heat source of the enemy aircraft. We'll get the tone in our helmet. We'll get all the diamonds and things in the HUD, just like in the movies, and we can practice killing them. Obviously, the main way we hover is these. These 4 nozzles are all connected to the engine, and when we pull that third lever in the cockpit, that's why you need free hands to fly the Harrier, these will point down, point your thrust down away, and you can hover.
It's an incredibly simple system. Originally, they thought that making a 25-ton plane hang in the sky would need 3 engines. But then some ingenious Brit said it could be done with one big engine that had movable exhausts. Its manoeuvrability makes the Harrier brilliant in a dogfight.
Chris, this dogfighting stuff,
Yeah.
how's that work then?
Dogfighting for us is when it's gone wrong and we've got in close. We practice it all the time. It's our bread and butter. We call it a knife fight in a phone box because everybody's really close. Everybody's got a lot of weapons. There's jets going everywhere, going all over the place. You're shouting at each other on the radio, and it's all about killing the guy as quickly as possible. We tend to try and get numerical advantage, so we go 2v1.
I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? You are basically just sat on a huge Pegasus Rolls-Royce engine.
Yeah, 21,500 pounds of thrust. It gives one of the best accelerations for a non-afterburning jet in the world. And it'll get us to 540 knots, which is gusting 600 miles an hour at low level at 250 feet. It's pretty quick.
I'll be going up in the Black T-Bird, a special twin-seater that's used for training. Commander Henry Mitchell, the guy in overall charge of the Sea Harrier Force, will fly me, while Chris runs alongside to show us some moves. And just to make sure you see as much as possible, they're scrambling a camera vehicle, a Hawk Jet no less, as used by the Red Arrows. The weather was closing in, but it simply doesn't faze these guys. They can just fly above it. Having set off from Dorset, they can be above Wales in 15 minutes, and at 27,000 feet, it was time for lesson 1, formation flying.
I didn't realise how close you fly together. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to. If you get too far apart, you lose sight of each other.
Yeah.
The pilots constantly make tiny corrections to keep rock steady. Think of the small steering adjustments you do on a motorway at 70. It takes an even finer touch at 300 miles an hour.
Right, now it's not actually the easiest speed to formate at.
Right.
You have control.
Okay, I have control. Yeah, it's so sensitive, isn't it?
Yes. Well, it's a few years of practice.
Come back, you bugger. Come back.
Very easy to get into a pilot-induced oscillation.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But you know what? After a few goes, I started to get the hang of it.
That's very good, Jason. It's coming on nicely.
Almost a thought process rather than putting an input into the stick. You almost just got to think about what's going to happen and the plane reacts.
The fun isn't over yet, Jason.
Okay.
Because lesson 2 was hovering, we headed back to the air station, but that's after a few moves.
We're doing not quite 40, but we're going around the loop. Fantastic.
Back at base, I saw firsthand how you hover by pointing the exhaust downwards. This would require even more dexterous ability, and it's likened to balancing a ball bearing on a tea tray. And just to focus my mind even more, if there's an engine failure, I've got less than a second to eject.
Okay, you have control.
I have control.
Right, you can look to the side.
Yeah.
Let's bring the stick back a bit. So you've gradually drifted forward. So bring the nose back up to the right attitude. Okay, just like that. Otherwise we'll drift forward again.
Come back, you little tinker.
Yep.
And can we do a nod to the crowd?
This has to be quick because we don't have a great deal of fuel.
Yeah. Gentle hovering. Fantastic.
Only 194 people have hovered a Harrier solo, which means more people have been in space. I can only imagine how tough it must be at night on a pitching deck of a carrier. As a final treat, I was shown the huge acceleration involved in the ski jump takeoff. 25 tons gets airborne in just 300 meters.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Excellent.
Bloody hell. That is absolutely awesome, isn't it? I didn't put my back out. I can't believe it accelerates that quick. This is one hell of a plane.
The Harrier accelerates to 60 in about 3 seconds. That's the same as the Ford GT. Join us after the break to see how well a pilot can handle that. Before the break, you saw me learning to fly a Sea Harrier as we try to find out how similar fighter jets are to supercars. Now it's time to see how good a pilot is on the track. When the Harrier first came into service, Ford brought out the original GT40. Today's version has a supercharged V8, does 205 miles an hour, and costs 120 grand. For your first-time track car, it's about as scary as it gets. But I reckon our pilot's up to it.
So, Chris, I've got a sneaky feeling that you fast-jet pilots can be good at driving cars. So I think there's similarities between what I do in a race car and flying jets.
Okay.
It's all having feel and touch.
So if it starts to slide out, you lift the power off, or do you keep it on?
It's a balancing act. It's a little bit lifting
But
the
you
power.
don't want to lift off too much.
No, because then
You're unsettling the back end again.
exactly.
It's the same flying jets. You got to look after it and be smooth, and if you don't, it will get away from you quickly. Not only the back end spinning out, but in the Harrier it'll flip on its back.
Right, I am going to move my seat a bit forward so I can grab the wheel if I need to. You know, you said the investment in you is worth 6 million.
Yeah.
It's not that for me, but I'm still quite important, so let's be having it in a straight line.
And just for the first couple of laps, we kindly organised another Ford GT to show Chris the racing line. Not quite formation flying, but close. Chris's natural instinct was to be smooth, but I spotted 3 areas where he could improve.
Hands on wheel. Try and put them, say, 2:45, and keep them there. Can you see your feet in the wheel?
As opposed to holding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold the wheel. So it's fine across your arms, whereas if you keep taking your hands off, you lose the feel. Now, one of the common mistakes everyone does when they first start driving a car on the track is they all turn in too early.
Okay.
Keep out, keep out, keep out. Now turn half as much as you did last time, half as much.
Okay.
Now that looks like you're going to go off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not though. See what I mean? You need to try and keep looking a long way ahead.
Heel and toe is a black art. It's where you blip the throttle whilst braking to make gear changes smoother. The trouble is, there are 3 pedals, but you've only got 2 feet, so it takes a bit of fancy footwork.
It's a bit like, you know, trying to do 3 things at once, which you can do with flying jets. It's a rhythm. It's a feel. So we'll get you in, let you have a go.
Okay.
So keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Go on, have a little break and then a little... There you go.
Yeah.
That sort of feel. That's it. So a little rev. Clutch up. Perfect. Spot on. Can you feel how smooth that was? Like the car
massively.
almost didn't know it had changed gear.
No, it just stays settled. It doesn't jump around.
That's exactly what you said. Well, you can do it. You've done it once. You can do it 10 times.
Well, almost.
I think that's 4.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll cover it.
Does it feel quick?
It does accelerate amazingly well. It's a bigger rush than in a jet.
Really?
It's a lot, because it's so close to the ground. Yeah. Yeah.
Mission accomplished. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to teach you the automotive equivalent of hovering a Harrier. Spear off here. We're going to teach you how to do a controlled power slide round some concentric circles.
Power sliding is difficult at the best of times, but trying to keep it between the circles makes it the ultimate test of whether your car control is up to scratch.
I'll be working the throttle, the steering, feeling what's going on, trying to anticipate to make sure it's a smooth, nice, progressive slide.
Okay.
So let's see if we can get it going.
Just like that. Huh?
Yeah. And I'll get it so I can almost hold everything still.
Okay.
There. And that's just
So you're just pulling the throttle to keep the back end.
just tiny little adjustments with the throttle. Tiny small changes. So,
So.
that's your turn.
Good.
And the moment you feel its bum on the move, is get ready.
Go on. Catch it, catch it, catch it, catch it, catch it. Gentle. Oh, nearly. It's hard, isn't it?
Hey, dude. See, you made it look so easy.
Tough, eh?
Yeah, pretty difficult.
Well, the question I want to ask, do you think it's harder than hovering a Harrier?
I think so, yeah, definitely.